Hi, everybody. This is Sharon Martin, and today I am answering some questions from my followers on Facebook. So here's the one I'm going to do for you now. It's when first dating, how can I remain detached until I find out who this person is and how they will treat me? Okay, wonderful question. And I think the temptation is, or the hope is that we could just have that crystal ball and it would magically tell us the future and let us know if this person is a good person, they're trustworthy, they're going to be faithful and honest and respectful and all the stuff that we're looking for. But obviously, we don't have crystal balls. Um, so we only have the information that's available to us to try to figure this out. Um, so one thing I want to point out is that I think the person who has asked this question has already is already a step ahead of a lot of people because she has already figured out that there needs to be an element of detachment, that you can't just sort of jump in with everything you've got and hope for the best. So even just recognizing that this is my goal, is that I need to have some detachment here, is a good place to begin. So, in terms of sort of a more practical answer for you, I think what we're really talking about is how can you slow down the relationship so that it is not going at warp speed and just sweeping you up inside of it. And that's where you get so emotionally wrapped up in the new person and the new relationship that you're really not seeing him or her for who they are. You're almost, just, kind of got the blinders on. You're only seeing what you want to see because it feels so good, right? New relationships feel great. So, the slowing down is what I think you really want to be looking for. It's hard to say exactly, what that should look like. I think, certainly people are different. But I think if you too quickly move into a relationship where you are, seeing each other, three, four, five, six, seven times a week, or you're spending hours and hours on the phone, or you're texting all day long, it creates this sense of intimacy and connection without maybe giving you really the information that you're needing. And I really believe that some of this information that you need can only be gathered over a substantial period of time. Like, you need to be able to see how this person interacts with their friends or their family, and what happens around the holidays for them. um, Things that just sort of can't be known, I think, until you are able to witness some of it. Because obviously people can also just be telling you what they think you want to hear. um, so can ask them, questions, and that can, provide you with some information, of course. But not everybody is, going to be honest. If you ask them, have you ever cheated on your partner or something like that? They may or may not actually, tell you the truth on something like that. That's, information that, is harder to gather. But like I said, I think the only way to, get some of those insights is over the course of a longer period of time. And I think the best safeguard for us is to not be rushing forward and feeling like there's this timeline that, we need to be at this stage of the relationship, or we need to be doing this at this point. And I will say, related to this, is also an element of needing to slow down the physical component of the relationship. And this is perhaps, maybe even the biggest piece of it. And it may not be a real popular opinion. And I'm not saying that you should delay having sex with somebody for, ethical or moral or religious reasons. I'm really, only saying this from the psychological standpoint of, it may not be in your own best interest psychologically. Because what happens when you have a physical relationship with somebody, is that the emotional connection grows exponentially. And this is especially true for women, is that once you start having sex with somebody, you are probably going to be much more emotionally connected to them. which again, once that, emotional connection starts to build, it gets harder and harder, for you to be able to leave that relationship and for you to be able to see things for what they really are. That's sort of like all the love hormones and all those chemical components, of our brain start being released. And it's obviously it's not a conscious process. It's just something that our biology is doing, and it serves its purpose from a biological standpoint. But for us, sort of in a modern dating world, it's not very helpful, in helping us choose the best partner, because we can get sort of bonded to people without really knowing them very well. So, I hope that that gives you a few insights. It is challenging, I know, because I think life just moves at a quick pace these days, and I think especially with the technology that we have and the expectation that we're going to be available all of the time and we're going to respond to messages right away, it makes it harder for us to slow things down. But I think often if you set that stage from the beginning and you say that from the onset, that I do dating at a slow pace. So I'm just letting you know that up front. It's not personal. It's not because I don't like you or I'm not into you. It's just like that's what I have found works the best for me, is to go at that slower pace. And like I said, I wish I had a one size fits all answer in terms of like what does a slower pace actually mean. But I think that's really something we have to figure out for ourselves. But as we sort of slow down the relationship, it gives us more time to think and to process, and even to just sort of live our regular life, and not get so overly focused on one person. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Take care.